Oh, hi! I'm Lucas, and today's topic is health and beauty. So let's talk about beauty first. Poets and artists have been interested in beauty since Alexandros of Antioch's sculpture of Aphrodite or Shakespeare's sonnets, but specifically, we're going to talk about modern, Western, human beauty. Since this is what I know about, and that's what you're interested in. Now let's start. What is beauty? Humans have two different standards for beauty, traditionally, men and women. Men have abs, broad shoulders, strong jaws, and chiseled faces. Women have been traditionally portrayed as having thin, delicate forms, long hair, blushing cheeks, and dark eyelashes. Now, these are concepts that have changed slightly through the generations, but mostly have been kept pretty constant. Of course, there have been tendencies or traits that certain generations found more attractive, or certain cultures found more attractive, like blonde hair in Italy or small feet in China traditionally. But mostly, they've stayed a pretty constant factor in our perceptions of beauty. In the late 1800s, a guy called Francis Galton, actually a half cousin of Charles Darwin, did an experiment where he took hundreds of photos of people's faces specifically, and mashed them into one face. What was interesting about this is that he found this face taken from hundreds of people's individual faces, was particularly beautiful, and he did this multiple times, and saw that, again, the tendency was for this averaged face to be much more beautiful than any of its constituents. Now, this is pretty revealing on what we find aesthetic. It's the same kind of thing that draws our eyes to symmetry, a tendency, really, to find the ideal, Platonic standard more pleasing than any individual feature. There's an evolutionary reason for this. Often, a deviation from the norm is a harmful mutation. For example, albinism in this peacock. Albino peacocks are far more likely to get ill, seriously ill, or die. And so they're less likely to get a mate. They deviate from the norm, so they're probably unhealthy. Obviously, this isn't something that we can translate over to human beauty, but it's a remnant of our past. Now let's talk about health and its relation to beauty. Beauty can align with personal health, and the strive for beauty isn't necessarily harmful. But it's not satisfactory just to draw the line there and conflate beauty and health. There are many dangers to the obsessive pursuit of personal aesthetic that plagues people today. One example is Eurocentrism. Caucasians are overrepresented in the media, whether it be models, advertisements, posters. More Caucasian people are found in positions of beauty or in appeals to aesthetic than African Americans or Asians, etc. More Caucasians are found as subjects of artwork. The very idea of the blue-eyed, ivory-skinned princess is way more prevalent than its Native American, African American, or Asian equivalent. A 1960s movement called the Black is Beautiful movement tried to rectify this by instilling an idea of African American beauty and trying to get rid of the even internalized racism that plagued the 1960s and still haunts us today. And of course, this kind of Eurocentrism is very harmful, especially, of course, to people of color who find themselves not represented in places or positions of beauty or as idols in the media. Now, don't take me wrong. I'm not saying that we should immediately associate the concept of beauty with ill health. What's important is that people's bodies are safe and stable. If beauty is important to you, pursue it by all means. I can't judge. I love looking good. But what's harmful, what's dangerous, is when the search for personal aesthetic becomes serious and it becomes personally harmful, when it corrupts someone's body or their perception of self. So I hope I've gotten across what I'm trying to convey. So for now, thanks and fiat clausula.